So in terms of teams, we're on pretty much the final one now. We are going to be getting an ultimate team of the season, and we finish off with a Saudi and the MLS. It was kind of only right that they were going to do this. It is the pinnacle of Messi versus Ronaldo. Whether we see another one next year, I know Ronaldo is technically without a club, or is he going to kind of have a contract expire? More than likely he will find somewhere. Rumours into Miami is looking at him, so the MLS next year could look pretty good, and I don't know when Messi's ever going to retire, to be honest. We also have a Suarez in the MLS, so in terms of the two teams, really, if you do look through both of them, you're kind of thinking, well, really, there's only kind of one or two players that we're looking at here. So if we do go into the Saudi, obviously, we throw in a bit of Benzema. We know a bit of names are coming in there. Kante, obviously. Diaby is going to be another one. And to be honest, if we're looking for quite a cheap beast, Milinkovic-Savic is always on hand. And they have definitely pulled a few in there to make them at least viable as an option. They may not be some of the Prem, some of the Bundesliga or La Liga, but they are most definitely options you could consider. Cancelo, still an option you could consider going into this. Now, when we do look a bit further down, obviously like Simican, their highlights, you're really looking at them being the bog standard of kind of nothing, to be honest. They're standard. Like, they are going to be team of the seasons that are there just purely to make the numbers, which is absolutely fair enough. You could argue maybe Castiles, but to be honest, I'd possibly just go into a usable because it's a keeper. Keepers don't really do a hefty amount, to be honest, in this game, but we will miss out on a few of the highlights. Simican, I mean, you could get a bit out of him, but realistically, you're gonna just put him in the bin. He's not gonna go anywhere, unfortunately. So if you're looking for coins, check in the description for El Dorado. Depending on the coin amount that you're looking for, the delivery time is displayed on the website, and you'll see lots of different trusted sellers with reviews on specifics, and also the ability to be able to pick who you want. It will also show how much they have in stock, and obviously you can see that they are verified members. There is 100% refund ability and also 24/7 support if you need any questions with your coin needs. Also, if you head over to Trustpilot as well, you can see over 30,000 upvotes for them. You can see how reliable they are. Obviously great feedback across the entire board with El Dorado. So when on checkout, make sure you are using the code JT11 for 5% off your order every time. Discount code JT11. Now let's get back to the video. It's kind of coming at a good time as well with all of the road to the finals, I suppose, the champions winning teams, the UCL that's going to be coming, obviously the Europa, the conference, they've all come at a good time that you've got them in packs alongside these as well. If we kind of look at the other striker, we got Marcus Leonardo coming in with a 5-5. Again, not necessarily terrible as a card. He's got the finesse, low driven, which is nice. The quick step or rapid would have been decent enough, but realistically, the strikers we've got now, I mean, I'd be very lenient to put him into like a usable category just because, but he most definitely wouldn't necessarily be in many people's teams. Same with obviously Podence. He's going to be in and around about there as well. I'd say Cancelo would throw himself into that kind of usable category. He maybe could have a little bit extra, like maybe as a right back. We haven't necessarily got too much of a talent there, but we could kind of see him coming in as just a standard card at most. Same as Milinkovic-Savic. I think he is, as a cheap beast, someone who's 50,000-60,000, a very, very nice card. He's obviously coming in with the height at, what, 6'4"? Yeah, 6'4", brother at 6'6", with the shapeshifters coming. Could be an interesting one. We obviously have got the incisive, the bruiser, and the long ball. Just missing out on something like an intercept and anticipate an aerial that really would have taken this card potentially up there. He's got 90 years on everything, which is always nice, and does rock the midfield very, very well. In terms of kind of the defense now we're looking at that Ibanez. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Have we got a first name that's better? Roger. Love it. Roger. 419,000 with the quick step, the block, the aerial, and the anticipate. It's a very interesting card because obviously having the quick step on a centre-back is never necessarily your number one priority, but it's not the worst in the world. He does get the controlled lengthy with the proper defensive attributes as well, which is nice. People are going for the artist. I mean, I get it, but you'd probably just go out and out with the anchor, to be honest. Make everything absolutely rapid out there. The only thing you could possibly argue would be is put him as a fullback, but he doesn't have that position. So realistically, you're looking at a 97 rated centre-back. I'd give him a shot. I wouldn't necessarily say give him the keys to the castle, but he most definitely puts himself into a solid category in this list. And I think Diaby does the same as well. He was kind of the OG at the very start. The pace was absolutely everything. They gave him the rapid, they gave him the technical, is what it is. Press proven and finesse, so he's still got a very good basis as a right mid. And hopefully we do see him drop down considerably, because he most definitely puts himself just below that top meta. If you're thinking against your Salas, your Rafinhas, your Vinnies, he's going to be just under them, unfortunately, but he's definitely in a very high category, in my opinion. El Dasari, another great one that always comes in on clutch. The Saudi King of the 123,000 at a 96 rated, with obviously the rapid, the finesse. Technical is just that extra byproduct, but potentially an Evo to add an extra playstyle plus with the new season pass coming next week is always an interesting category, to be honest. Stats wise, looking good. I mean, I don't know if I'd quite go into a very usable category, but I'd definitely put him into a very high usable category. I think he's a little bit missed out with the left wings that we've got. There is a lot that we can go with. In terms of Saudi, leaves us with the top three. Benzema, Kante, and also CR7. Now, obviously, when we do look at the likes of Benzema, standard card, to be honest, I would have loved something like a rapid on him just to give him that extra little oomph in his step. But the finesse, the low driven, the first touch, it's very Benzema-esque. Great shooting ability, passing's there, dribbling's there. They've given him obviously a massive pace boost, which is nice, and the physicality is down to a T. So you can't really argue with that. I don't think I'd go top meta with him. If I'm being really, really picky with him, I think there is better strikers out there. There is going to be a higher echelons of strikers that Ronaldo is going to be part of. That is just going to be standard. So, unfortunately for him, he's kind of come at the end, which means we've got a lot of players that are just like him. But 5'5", he is most definitely one of the better ones in that kind of top-end category. Kante, now this is the card we've all been waiting for. We normally get him right at the start. Back in his Chelsea days, the gold would carry through till team of the season. But this time round, we've got him now with a quadruple. Press proven, pinged, intercept, anticipate, perfect. They genuinely said, Kante, yes, this is an immaculate card. If you've used him, you know exactly what we're talking about. He's quick on the move. He's great jockey even without the plus. He holds his ground. His tackling is fantastic. And he's even got a cheeky pass to get out of there. Obviously, shooting's not going to be his strongest point, but he can have a long range every now and then. Realistically, he's more of the assister when it comes to assisting the midfield from the defensive line. And he does it expertly. He is brilliant. He is definitely in that top category, in my opinion. He's always been a stunning card that was just waiting for the right stats, and they absolutely smashed it with his team of the season. CR7 though, 7.3 mil now, was kind of giving it a little bit of time. He did come out at 15 mil, which was pretty standard for him. He is 2 ratings higher than his team of the year, which is, again, is always standard. And a lot of people have his 93, so that's going to be the biggest comparison between the two. Obviously, if you do look at him, quick step, low driven, aerial, finesse. They literally gave him every single one. Like, unless he's got like a first touch in here as well, he has got everything you need. There is literally no other upgrade that you could possibly want with CR7 here, other than the same playstyle pluses, +1, plus 99 stats across the board. This is a perfect version of CR7. The only thing they didn't give him is that 5-star weak foot. Now, I don't think it will matter too much for him. He is a goal scoring machine, but that would be the only thing I would say you needed to give him the 5-5. I mean, that's purely give him everything bar from one thing, so we've got something to improve on. You'll be the same playstyle pluses, maybe add 1 if they go to 5, the 5-5, the 99 rated stat. That's of course what they're going to go with, but it is what it is when it comes to them, to be honest. So let's move over to the MLS now. We've obviously got Messi coming in as the kind of prime target here. Obviously, we've got a bit of Suarez there. And to be honest, from there, again, like kind of Saudi, you've got a couple of players that are maybe a couple of 100k, but realistically, we're kind of looking standard at this point. We've only got 1 on the bench, and then we have got some SBCs. We've obviously got Mahrez and Insigne that are going to be quite nice. But realistically, when you do look at a lot of these cards, we're just going to go straight through them, to be honest, because there isn't necessarily a great deal that you're going to go with here. So we got Guzan. We actually got two keepers, which I thought was very interesting. Again, you could, like we say, if we look at them, you've got Guzan at 6'4", and you've got him at 6'2". Now, personally for me, if I was going height orientated, I would go him as a miss. I'm just going to whack them both in usable because when it comes to keepers, you could use them. They're not necessarily going to be too bad or too good, depending on if you are a dead set on a certain playstyle plus. For me, Rush Out is the biggest one that I personally like, but again, it goes down to the keeper that you personally like. So if we're just going to go straight through them, there is a few that I would kind of go. Forsberg, I'd drop down now. Evander, I mean, we'll come back to him. Jordi Alba, 64,000 with a rapid. You could maybe get a bit of usability out there. But you're kind of thinking he's only there because of Inter Miami. Like, if it won Inter Miami, you'd probably look at more of a miss, if anything. Luna, he was the objective. He would be a miss, to be honest. We have then got the striker. No, thank you. Bergwijn, I think more of a name, but realistically he's going to go in the bin. And then we've got a couple of SBCs that will go over. And then we've got Benteke. Again, kind of just in that standard. He's kind of like the almost a B-Tech Benzema sort of thing. He's kind of the bigger striker. They've given him a bit more of a pace increase, but realistically, they've just given him shooting and heading. That's kind of about it, to be honest. So, and then we also have the 96 rated centre-back, which is always nice. Very much like Roger. They've given him the quadruple play star plus with obviously the long ball pass, the jockey, the intercept, the anticipate. Solid card. I don't think it's quite good as Roger, if I'm being brutally honest. Silva coming into the 96. I mean, he's kind of got a little bit about him, but I'm realistically going to drop him. Evander is another interesting one when it comes to a cam. We have got a lot of cams, so he's going to have to fight with a lot of players in that role. Now, stats, playstyle pluses are doing pretty well. 5-star, 4-star, I believe we've got a few out there that are 5-5. Rapid, incisive, tiki-taka, and obviously a bit of a low-driven. I'd say if he did manage to kind of get into your team purely on a chemistry basis, he could do a little bit. It'd be on the lower end of the very usable if I'm being really honest with him. I think maybe if you were looking for the chemistry, you could look at the centre-back being there as well as kind of like the very low band of a very usable, in my opinion. But it is kind of what it is at that point. We then look at the Spanish international going in here. We've obviously got him coming in at 32,000. He's always been at least a semi-decent colour. He always had a nice end card. And to be fair to him, he's not terrible. He's got a decent amount of stats. He's obviously got himself some nice playstyle pluses. But he's going to be the usable, but he's always worth a little mention on him. He's got a 95 rated stat, which is nice. And then we do have the SBCs. So if we do look at the SBCs first, before we go into Messi and Suarez, as they are the dynamic duo, we obviously have got our boy in the MLS, the 94, and it is Dennis. He's coming in with obviously the 4-5. He's got the incisive, the quick step, the low driven. Low driven is an absolute tank and a half. It's so annoying. Realistically, you're looking at him as a standard card, if anything. And Insigne would be the exact same. They've given him a slight upgrade, but it's not necessarily anything that you're going to go crazy about, if I'm being brutal. And then we have got Mahrez. Again, I'd probably say pretty standard. He's a nice card, but he's a name more so than anything. In a past and present Man City team, that's going to be about it. I don't see him taking over many of the right mids roles, if I'm being really brutal with him. And that leaves us with the two absolute icons in Suarez and Messi. Obviously, Suarez coming in at 1.8. He's got himself the quadruple. Of course he did. They didn't give him the 97. Always interesting. Finesse, press proven, quick step, low driven. Perfect. Just an absolute stunner. And yet they gave him the 5-5. So it's always interesting to say the least. And then Messi, again like CR7, the best version we've seen, 9.7 mil. Outrageous. If we could get 5 playstyle pluses, CR7 and Messi is going to be an absolute danger duo. He's obviously got the finesse, he's got the technical, the incisive, and the low driven. So he does play a really good role that you could get a Messi, Suarez, and CR7 partnership, or an Mbappe, CR7, and Messi partnership, and whack him in that cam with the ability to shoot from distance and also pass. This could be a very, very dangerous card, but he's obviously going to go up in here. These two are the absolute goats of goats when it comes to it, and that is going to be the list for today. So let me know down below what you think. Make sure you do like and subscribe on this. We will obviously go for the ultimates, and we will see what the Champions League brings for the 97 versions of PSG. Make sure you subscribe. Peace.